What's good, y'all? It's me, Chris, back here with another video. In today's video, we're going to be discussing Insecure Season 4, Episode 4. So we start off the episode, Issa's still working on the block party, trying to get everything going, everything in motion, and she gets a sudden knock on the door, and it's a swarm of her tenants complaining about the water being shut off, and Issa not giving a proper 24-hour notice. They storm her apartment, and I'm not sure what they could have accomplished by doing that they couldn't have just standing right outside her door. I don't really get the whole point of this scene. I don't know if this was supposed to show like Issa's tenacity, show what Issa is balancing right now. I didn't get it. And then we get the title card. I low-key thought maybe she was gonna give up being a landlord manager. I'm not really sure. Moving on to Andrew and Molly. Molly's busy working on work-related stuff. She gets a knock from Andrew. She doesn't realize that this man is coming over. You can tell Andrew's in the mood. They were supposed to have some intimate time, and Andrew is just bored from the fact of Molly talking about her personal and work life. And Molly's just like, hey, give me some time. I need to just work on this, and I'll be right back. Listen, now me personally, I'm a weak ass nigga. Turning down some opinion like that, this is probably why I am at where I am currently in my life, because my priorities are fucked up. But like 1 o'clock in the morning, I would have been in that bed for sure. I'm such a procrastinator, and I clearly have no balance. But Molly is really dedicated to her craft. It's 1:42 finally, and she decides that she's accomplished what she needed to do and to bother Andrew. And I think that this is such a good setup for the rest of the episode, just exploring more into the dynamic of Andrew and Molly. So we get back to Issa. She's working on a block party, and she can't get a hold of Condola. No Condola this whole entire episode. And honestly, I'm fine with it, especially after last week's episode. You know how I felt about her and her friends, and just her approach with Lawrence. It just seems very like immature, just seems like unnecessary. Issa's calling and texting Condola just to let her know that, hey, I need you right now. And I'm that same type of nigga. I will call you, leave you a voicemail, and leave you a text message. That is necessary. I always tell my friends, I'm like, hey, you called me, you needed me, you should have left a follow-up text message, like, because I don't have any context aside from just having a missed call. I have no voicemail, no text message. So clearly it's urgent, in which Issa needs Condola, and it's very much reflective of that. I'm going to be mad if Lawrence and Condola's dynamic is affecting Issa's relationship and Issa's efforts into putting this block party together, because Issa has been handling this situation so maturely. She ain't did shit. She gonna have to let Lauren go at the end of the season as a friend, honestly, because I'm not feeling this. So we move on to then we get a nice little cute conversation of Molly and her work friends. Molly used to mentor somebody at the firm. He doesn't want to go by BJ anymore. He goes by Bennett. They're like, he probably dates white women, and cute little fun conversation. Their workload is getting overwhelmed, and Molly's like, I'll stay. Like my boo understands, and I'm like, so you think all the women are relating and kikiing. It's a cute little interaction. I love just seeing black women have conversations and talk about things. It's nice being like a little fly on the wall. Like I said, they're doing a really good job this episode in like building up the Molly and Andrew conversation that happens on later in the episode. So Issa and Molly go to meet Tiffany's baby. Finally, Tiffany has a goddamn baby. She's been pregnant forever, since season 2. Like, we had a full 2 seasons. This woman has been pregnant. So Issa and Molly finally go to visit the baby. They are fighting for this parking spot, and I swear Issa has that parking spot. That was totally Issa's. Molly would have had to flip around. I would have parked in the street. Honestly, like, that was totally Issa's parking spot. I don't know if y'all caught it, but Issa was listening to some like podcast talking about like woman empowerment and relationships with women. Did y'all catch that? I was like, oh, okay, she's not getting her self-care Sunday with Molly every week, but she's still she is still trying to better herself. She's still looking out at other resources, other avenues in which she can get like that good motivational feel good, that self-care that comes with self-care Sunday. I love to see it. It's still interesting that we have not had a conversation with Molly and Issa yet, and you can definitely pick up on that as they're heading into Tiffany's house to see the baby. You can definitely see that there is still a lot of unresolved issues and unresolved tensions that's going on in this, and I'm just like, I guess everyone's busy right now, so that's fair, but where is the priority in somebody that means so much to you? So we get in. Derek and Lawrence are having this conversation. You have Derek talking about fatherhood and talking about, oh gosh, I have a daughter. She's going to be a girl. She's going to be a woman and just fucked over by men. Men do fucked up shit to women. So somebody's going to finger my daughter. Why do men always get so concerned why do adults always sexualize children so much? It's weird. Stop sexualizing your children. And then why is it always like your daughter? And why is your daughter having sex the worst thing possible that can happen? It's weird. I think it's good to be aware of the fucked up and the privilege that you have as a man raising a daughter. But why does that always have to equate to like her having sex? How about just her, the love that she's going to be able to receive from men, the type of like jobs that she's going to receive from men, just navigating spaces in a body of a woman. Like, how about that? Like having health care. I just think it's weird that we always are, oh, I don't want my daughter to have sex. What about her well-being as a human being and how men interact with her from that aspect? I think that would be a much more important concern. Derek is telling Lawrence, like, I love being a father, but this was so unexpected. Me and Tiffany have plans to travel and just enjoy each other even more. This has really shifted our lives. And I was like, that's exactly why my grown ass is not a parent. I am too selfish. I understand the duties that it takes to be a parent. I 100% believe that you do have to share your life now. I don't believe the rhetoric of giving up your life. You never give up your life for anyone, but you do have to share your life now and you have to think about somebody else. You literally have to raise this person, be a functionable human being in this society, and that takes a lot that I'm not willing to give right now because I get to sleep in. I don't have to worry about feeding nobody's mouths. Yeah, being a parent is a lie. It's not something that I take lightly, and it's not something that I'm ready for. And they just confirmed that in this conversation, and it looked like Lawrence was like wanting to be a parent as well. I hope he was receiving that message because I received it. Do not be a parent unless you are ready to share your life and your space and prioritize someone else aside from yourself. So, cute little conversation with Tiffany, Issa, Kelly, and Molly. Y'all know I love seeing those four women together. I wish we could like explore more of that and stop centering so much around the men in their lives, but I love seeing the four of them get together. Tiffany's talking about how motherhood has been so far, how much she's missed hanging around her regular friends. And they threw a really good social commentary about the mortality rate of Black women and pregnancies. Great. It just felt really organic. Didn't feel like a PSA. Didn't feel like a hammer over the head. Are you watching this, Kenya Barris? Like, this is how you bring up social commentary in a television show that doesn't feel like I'm in elementary school listening to some PSA. I thought it was great. Nice little gem, nice little nugget inserted into that scene. From this scene, it was so weird how Molly and Issa just would not communicate to each other. Like, why won't they just talk to each other? They're so passive with each other. It infuriates me. You had Issa asking Kelly, like, what's up with Molly, girl? She told you anything? And Kelly's like, maybe you should talk to her. Same thing for Molly. Molly and Tiffany are having a conversation. She was like, what's up with Issa? And Tiffany's like, miscommunication? Maybe I should talk. Finally, the women are giving good advice to their friends. Molly is lingering over the window, watching Issa and Lawrence talk and just judging the fuck out of her. Still judging the fuck out of her and just not asking these questions, just projecting all her feelings, not being able to see the growth that Issa has done and the work that Issa has really put in. Like, I think, anywho, it's weird that Molly feels that way. I don't understand it. Lauren and Issa are in the courtyard. Lauren is about to tell Issa something of importance. We don't know. Issa gets a phone call and has to dip. What do y'all think Lawrence was going to tell Molly? I'm really curious to hear what Lawrence has to say to Issa. Also, I really feel like, because we're the audience, we can see how interested and how much Lauren is really reconsidering and rethinking his relationship with Issa. But I don't think Issa's aware. Like I said, I don't think all the reflection that Issa has been doing this season with Lawrence and Condola has been in regards to her getting back. It's just more so been like an observation. And I think this is very interesting. I think we're finally going to be getting to see how Lawrence really feels. So hopefully next week we get those questions answered. Lauren was quick, brief little scene in this episode. I would love to see more of that from Lawrence. Just, we don't need to focus on him. He could just be a snippet, a blimp in the episode, and we can move on to these fabulous other women. So after Schoolboy Q cancels as the headliner for Issa's block party, she has to scramble to find another replacement. She consults Mirabay, and Mirabay is like, I've had enough today. You're on your own with this, sis. Like, Issa has to be self-sufficient today. She ain't got nobody. She ain't got Mirabay. She has no Condola. Everybody is MIA right now. So Issa has to gather herself together and really brainstorm to find somebody to replace Schoolboy Q. She goes through her contacts list. We get a funny scene of just rejection after rejection. Turns out that nobody is still performing or available. She scrolls through Instagram, tries to hit up Beyonce. We all know Beyonce ain't checking her DMs. She knows she has a whole team, but good for you to shoot that high. I love the guts with that one, okay, sis? But she's having lunch. She realizes that one of the Instagram artists works at Live Nation. Turns out that Andrew also works at Live Nation. So Issa hits, in a moment of desperation, a moment of need, she hits up Molly and it's like, hey, can you talk to Andrew? Like, I have this artist that I'm interested in to perform at the block party. And see, can Andrew, hook me up? One, when you need a favor, you need to ease into that shit. You need to ease in. Especially, Issa should have been aware on the terms in which they're on. I mean, we just had it earlier in the episode where they haven't been going to Self-Care Sunday. They still need this talk. Like, clearly there's still some unresolved things, and you're asking for favors. Y'all haven't even had a conversation yet. And poor Molly, she was like, yes, finally, like, girl, like, I could talk to my girl now. And here come Issa just like, oh, that's crazy, but like, can you help me? It's so sad. Like, listen, you got to be smart about this. My mom just did this to me recently. Called me for 10 minutes. And usually I'm really good at when my family and friends are calling me for something. Usually I'm really good at picking up on it. But my mom really had me fooled. She had me talking for a whole 10 minutes. We was kikiing and everything. And then she dropped the bomb with a favor. And I was like, I should have known. But that's what you're supposed to do generally, right? And even bad on Issa for her to have been having these situations and her to not have this awareness. Shame on her. But Molly, as she's always been coming through for Issa, decides, okay, I'll talk to Andrew. And I gotta go, girl. And Issa's like, thank you, girl. So Molly and Andrew have this very necessary conversation talking about their work life and relationship balance. And Andrew is just like, hey, I don't feel like we're on the same path and we're not balancing our schedule correctly. And Molly's like, but you want to work on this, right? And Andrew's like, I want to. I'm like, yes. We're so used to the things in the show just like flipping out. I just love to see that everyone is open. There's some growth. There's some conversation. There's some vulnerability. Molly's like, hey, I haven't ever gotten to this point of a relationship. I'm usually they're gone by now. And I think that's real shit. Like, we're not in the dating phase. I think it's cute sometimes you come over to the person's house and they're working or they're doing some personal things and you're just happy to be like in their presence, right? Like, you don't mind. It's new, it's fresh. You're getting to know them. Like, you don't mind. But once you switch from like when it's you Now it's a us dynamic. You got to prioritize the other person. You got to make time for them. And that's all Andrew ever wanted was like some designated time for me. Like, I am just as a priority as much as your work. Molly said, I understand. You're going to be my main priority. I don't know about making no human, except for your child, your main priority. You can be prioritized just as much as work, and I can find like a work-life balance. But I don't know about you being my main priority, especially if you're not paying my bills. Anywho, I'm glad that conversation happened between Molly and Andrew. I think it was so needed. They're so cute together. Molly calls Issa and she's like, yeah, so I'm not going to ask Andrew. I want to make sure that I'm prioritizing my relationship and I don't want to mess anything up or anything to interfere with that. And Issa's like, what? And she's like, that makes sense, right? Issa's like, yeah, listen, this is very needed. Molly set the boundaries for her relationship and voiced those to Issa. They're not on the best of terms right now. And you can tell earlier in the episode when Molly is questioning Issa about how her headliner dropped out, she automatically went back to Issa being the problem of like, well, did you handle it? Did you sign a contract? Like, Molly, regardless of Molly being a good friend to Issa, she still views Issa as irresponsible. And she didn't want to do that right now, especially considering the terms that they're on. And I think that that's fair. Whether you would have found a way to help, I think that that was totally fair on Molly to set those boundaries. Issa's had a long ass day. Here come Mirabay trying to help, and she's just like, I want to shower. And shower comes on, and constant reminder of how not great of a landlord Issa is. So that's the end of the episode. I love this show so much. I love, like I said, the relatability factor. It's a show in which there's a lot of interpretation. We can like project our own personal lives on it. It's so much fun to dissect this show. I do really have a question for y'all. Like, why can Molly only communicate to one person at a time? Like, all these things that she's exhibiting towards Andrew has been things that she's always been comfortable with Issa. Like, they've had blow-ups throughout the seasons, but Molly and Issa have never had a problem like communicating. We saw last season with her and Nathan. We've seen in seasons before them have like really vulnerable, open conversations. It seems to me that like Molly can only prioritize one person for that. It's almost like her energy shifts and she again needs to find some type of balance. A lot of the things in this show constantly is miscommunication. I get it's a show, but I think it's really important just to show that like some things won't even become a thing if you just like express how you feel in that moment or find the environment in which you feel safe and to express those things. They're doing really good commentary on that. I would love to hear what y'all thoughts are. Any predictions for next week's episode. Please leave everything in the comments below. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And I will see y'all in my next video. Bye!